1 in 3. That is how many women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. Let me put that in perspective for you. We have 18 females in our communications class this semester. That means out of those 18 females, 6 could experience domestic violence in their lifetime. So, what is domestic violence? What are the warning signs? And what can we do to help? Domestic violence is defined by the legal dictionary as any abusive, violent, coercive, forceful, or threatening act or word inflicted by one member of a family or household onto another. So this does not only apply to women. Men can be abused as well. And I'd also like to put emphasis on the word or, act or word. When people hear the word abuse, they instantly think physical. But there are so many different kinds. There's verbal, emotional, mental, and so it's not just physical. A lot of people have the question of, well, why don't people who are being abused just leave? It is not that easy. Did you know that it takes an average of 7 times for a woman to leave and go back to her abuser before she leaves for good? Why is this? This is because of the cycle of abuse, and that's what it is. It is a cycle. It starts off with what's known as the honeymoon phase. This is where the abuser makes the victim fall in love, makes them think they're the perfect person, and then it goes to the tension building stage. This is where threats happen, where the victim feels like they have to walk on eggshells. And then the last stage is the actual act of violence. This is where the hitting occurs, the screaming, the name calling, all of that. And then it goes back to the honeymoon phase, where the abuser apologizes, says, I'll change, it's never going to happen again, where they give their gifts. So what are the warning signs of abuse? What can you look for to know if someone's being abused? To the outside world, they look like they're the perfect couple. The abuser in public shows a lot of affection, and people actually become jealous and think they have this perfect relationship, when really it's far from that. There's a lot of control involved. They control finances. They can even control how their victim looks. A lot of the times, victims will change what they're wearing and change the way they look because they don't want to be too flashy. They don't want to do anything to make their abuser mad. And that's another thing. Victims oftentimes believe that they're being abused because of something they did. So, if I change how I look, he wouldn't do that to me. But that's because the abuser makes them think it's their fault. Another thing is, oftentimes, abusers and victims will move a lot. Whether it's a new city, a new state, they move a ton. And this is a form of isolation because the abuser wants to isolate the victim from friends and family. And that's how they do it. Or they try and tell the victim that these people are no good, they don't want what's best for you, and eventually the victim believes it. Abusers also, as a form of control, will go through their phones, check text messages, and even go through their GPS to see where they've been. There is a ton of control involved. So what can you do to help? There are plenty of help hotlines. There's treatment centers where people can go and get healing. Oftentimes, victims don't see they're being abused. So if you see someone's being abused, reach out to them and talk to them if you can. Encourage them to seek help. If you're in immediate danger or if somebody else is, call 911. And just be aware of your surroundings, be aware of your friends and your families. Know the warning signs so you will be able to see it, because abuse is so underreported. So it is up to everyone to know the warning signs and to understand what domestic violence truly is.